Look at the violent movements around the world. What's at the root of much of it? Well, incendiary rhetoric, words that are like a spark in a dry field. Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat was a master of sowing discord between Palestinians and Jews. He had the ability to say just the right things to make his people angry. Much of America's media has picked up on Arafat's rhetoric. Just as many Palestinians have been brainwashed by Arafat's hate-filled speeches, the same thing has happened to many Americans. They believe Arafat and hate Israel. David Horowitz's excellent study, Why Israel is the Victim, makes a powerful case for the damage done by lies and hate-filled rhetoric. Because of the media's bias, many Americans have come to believe that Palestinian terrorism against Jews is morally justifiable. Are lies, half-truths, and incendiary rhetoric also fanning the flames of racial violence in America right today? In her new book, The War on Cops, How the New Attack on Law and Order Makes Everyone Less Safe, investigative reporter Heather McDonald shows how much of the anger against the police has been created by the media and even by some of America's leaders. That may be a shock, but it is true. It is morally wrong, but it is true. Lies, half-truths, and deliberate distortions are sowing the seeds of discord in America's cities and towns, and people are dying because of it. Words have unbelievable power. Imagine that you meet someone at church for the first time. He seems to be a really good fellow, and you would like to get to know him a little better. So you both decide to get together at the next church picnic. However, before the picnic, someone tells you that he heard that your newfound friend is a child molester and has spent some time in jail. Suddenly, your whole attitude toward your new friend changes. Do you really want to become friends with a child molester? The point of this illustration is not whether or not the charge is true. The point is this: what you are told about someone else can drastically alter your feelings toward that person. If lies are told about that person and about his character that is not true, your feelings will change. With good reason, James 3 and verse 6 says this, "And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity." On page 11 of her book, Heather McDonald shows how a deliberate spark turns into a raging inferno. All you need to do is to select some aspect of a city's political or civic structure and declare it proof of racism. Disregard alternate explanations and blame the ensuing riots on racism. Ferguson, Missouri is a classic example. The population is 2/3 black, but 5 of its 6 city council members are white, as is the mayor. The liberal media will help you quickly reach only one conclusion: this racial composition is proof of racism. But, writes McDonald, never mind that blacks barely turn out to vote and that they field practically no candidates. Never mind that the mayor ran for a second term unopposed. Now, these facts didn't affect the New York Times. It summed up the picture this way: mostly black cities, mostly white city halls. Another example in Ferguson is traffic fines. Ferguson issues fines for traffic violations, and 20% of its municipal budget comes from such funds. If people with outstanding fines or summonses don't appear in court, a warrant for their arrest is issued. The conclusion: this is a racist system. Ferguson is deliberately financing its operations on the backs of the black poor. This, according to the media, is why blacks are subject to fines and warrants. Hence, they are being hounded by a racist police force. But did anyone ever ask, might blacks be getting ticketed for the same reason whites are getting tickets, for breaking the law? On pages 15 through 18, McDonald notes the damage done to black businesses in Ferguson by the fires that were set by the rioters. Yet, as McDonald observes, not once are the rioters blamed for destroying the livelihoods of hard-working blacks in Ferguson, Missouri. That is a deliberate omission. The Times also went on to state, quote, "The killing of young black men by police is a common feature of African American life and a source of dread for black parents from coast to coast," close quotes. Yet little, if anything, was said about the fact that black homicides at the hands of other blacks are 10 times more likely than black homicides at the hands of whites. Black people are, in fact, killing black people. Yet the central narrative of the Black Lives Matter movement is that racist cops are the greatest threat to young black males today. So the question is this: why is the left-wing media and some of our national leaders, from the president down, sowing seeds of discord in our cities and in our towns? The reason? Because they want chaos and they want confusion. Rahm Emanuel, who was President Obama's White House chief of staff after the 2008 election, said this: "You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. A crisis is an opportunity to do things that you could never do in the absence of that crisis," close quotes. The riots and murder will be used as proof that America's police are not able to handle domestic violence. So here's a crisis that will quickly bring federal troops and maybe UN troops into our cities and towns. In this crisis, everyone wants peace and safety. What a perfect crisis to make it happen. Karl Marx wanted to create destabilizing crises to bring in world socialism. Saul Alinsky, in his Rules for Radicals, picks up on this. He said that the first duty of a community organizer is to destabilize that community. Race riots and police shootings are a good way to do this. Remember Rahm Emanuel's statement? You never want a good crisis to go to waste. Crises are good opportunities to do what you would never be able to do in the absence of that crisis. Friend, what about you? And what about me? Let's remember that this is a race war that no one can win. So why not bring it to a close? How do we do that? Through the gospel of Jesus Christ. Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." We all need to be broken. You need it, and I need it as well. Your sin looks awfully bad on someone else, especially if it's a person of a different skin color. Sin enslaves, but it also blinds us to our wretchedness. We think we are better than other people. We all need to come to the foot of the cross. There are no big shots at the foot of the cross. Neither are there any really good people. We need forgiveness. We need mercy. We need Jesus Christ. The Apostle Paul said this, "O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?" If whites and blacks came to the point where they could all say this, the race war that no one can win would suddenly come to an end. All the trite jokes, the blame shifting, and the demands for reparations would cease. The cross of Jesus Christ is the answer to our racial confusion.